I was taken a little bit back in the significant lineup change by Sheldon Keefe. That is your storyline coming in for the Toronto Maple Leafs. No questions asked.
Not even lineup change, philosophy change. You know?
That's well said, Sammy.
Well, and that really hits the nail in terms of what our theme has been the last week. And even before we went into game one and the follow-up of the comment, the violent comment, and then the thought that you're going to beef up with Clifford and Simmons. That was, I thought, a new philosophy for them based on what I saw over 82 games.
See,
and I'm not necessarily, my intention was never to tell you that it was right or wrong, but just to acknowledge why, like, the significant change from a team philosophy all season long.
See, that's where I differ from you. I don't think it was a change in philosophy so much as it was a strategy in the early games. In game 1 and 2, I think they had real concern about just getting physically run out of the building. And you know how they say in the series that physicality builds late in the series? If you're getting run over in games 1 and 2, by the time you get later in the series, it's supposed to take effect. I really think they were cognizant of not getting run out of the building games 1 and 2. The series is finding some flow here, right? Like, we have some idea about how the teams stack up, how the coaches want the matchups. I feel like now Toronto is past that part where they felt like they had to be physically present, and now they can play the game they prefer to play. That's this.
You buy that, Sammy? Because I don't.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned about going into tonight without one of the butchers in the lineup. I don't necessarily need them to play the whole game. I don't need them to be playing over 10 minutes or over even 8 minutes or over even 5 minutes. But just not having the presence of one of the guys that can maybe do some face punching or hitting or, you know, some adulting out there. Yes, correct. There's some punchies. I just am a little bit concerned about how this game could get squirrely and they don't have the guys to back it up.
Yesterday in the show, it was a foregone conclusion. Jason Spezza is coming back in.
We all but guaranteed it.
But
yep.
That was a lock. A Kyper and Bourne lock.
Who's coming out? Clifford or Simmons?
Mm-hmm. Not both.
Not both.
We both had Clifford staying in when we were discussing it. Now, I am much more prone to see what they're trying to do and agree with it than I get the vibe that you are. This is why it's great when we haven't had these conversations off air. I like what's going on here. My contention in game one with Clifford, Blackwell, Simmons as the line was that it had a clear purpose. You knew what it did and how you intended to use it. You knew when to put it over the boards, who you wanted to deploy it against. It made sense. The way it looks right now, Engvall, Blackwell, and Spezza as your fourth line have an entirely different purpose from that line, and you use them totally differently, but they have a purpose, right? It's a more skilled group, a more forechecking group, a more hockey group that's more likely to play minutes. I get it. I see what they're going after, and I like that there's a purpose.
Then do it from game one, because it never really worked. And I don't buy your theory that you needed it in the first two games, because you lost Clifford in 5 minutes and Simmons took stupid penalties in game two. And now you're bailing in game three.
Yeah, because it hasn't worked. You're going to stick with it when it clearly doesn't work? Or hasn't worked?
What chance did you ever give it to work? Clifford decided that you're not going to find out if it works.
Yeah.
Simmons decided in game two that you're not going to find out if it works.
And so you're going to reward those guys and play them more?
Not reward. But I thought it's still early enough in game three at 1-1 to say, hey, boys, stupid 1 and stupid 2. And how about smart in game 3 for both of you?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Yep.
But now you completely bail on it, which I don't necessarily like.
Yeah.
And now you are 1-1. And the message that you're sending now to Tampa Bay is, boys, we're going to outskill you. We're going to speed you. We're going to do all of those things that we
think the junk is
about.
done is the statement.
And if I'm Pat Maroon and Corey Perry, man, I'm licking my chops right now. I am I'm the coyote looking at the Roadrunner.
I think.
And if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm looking at Pat Maroon, who played 5 minutes last game, and saying, I'm not putting a guy in the lineup to contend with their 5-minute guy.
Yeah. See, again, I'm going to disagree with you.
How
because
dare you?
That's not allowed.
See,
we do not agree.
I can look at certain guys on the ice and think, like, that was the best 5 or 7 minutes you've given me. And there's other guys that could play 15 minutes. I'm like, hardly noticed them.
Yep. You think Maroon's giving him a good 5.5 minutes?
I think he's giving him a fantastic 5.5. And I think Corey Perry's excellent at 10, 11, or 12.
Yes.
And that is a consistency. And if you are talking about trying to not only beat Tampa Bay, but go 2, 3, 4 rounds, there hasn't been one Stanley Cup where I look at third and fourth lines and go, little throwaway. Like, everyone is valued.
But every team.
For those 5 or 7 minutes.
Sure. But every team that wins 2, you say that team can play it a number of ways. There's no team that's just butchered their way to the finals or skilled their way to the finals.
But not just one way.
Right.
And you have to have
just options.
Options.
I agree.
But options that stay consistent in your lineup, not the one that says we're going to lose that physicality option because we're going to go with all skill guys now.
This to me was much more about who should be in than who should be out. This was more about Spets has got to go in. He's missed 2 games. He's a big part of the team. Cliffy got himself suspended. Simmons played a horrible game last game. Spets has got to go in. So unless you want to take out Blackwell for Clifford.
Yeah. He's getting close. He's getting a lot closer, Blackwell, to being that healthy scratch than he would have been a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
And not because he's played all that poorly,
but not enough of an impact.
Exactly.